Hey, thank you so much for joining my YouTube channel. Of course, I want you to subscribe. We've got amazing interviews, great guests, really good content. It would be very, very helpful for you. And today, I get to introduce you to one of my very cool friends, Joan Hunter. Thank you, Joan.
It's always good to be here.
Super fun to hang out with you.
Yes, especially in person rather than just on Zoom or whatever.
Oh, yeah, seriously.
So we've done some Zoom fun stuff up there, too.
Totally. Have you eaten any okra lately?
I did last week. We had raw okra. I got her hooked on raw okra. And it's like, no, I'm not going to eat that. Raw okra, raw asparagus, it doesn't get any better than that. It's healthier that way, too.
I know. And I remember we were sitting at your desk, and you had that giant bag of okra.
Just picked that morning and brought in as first fruits.
Exactly. And I was thinking, I was like, it's slimy. Remember I said that? I was like, it's slimy and that's, ugh.
But the fresh ones really aren't bad like that, so which is good. When you cook them up and put them with the stewed tomatoes and yummy, yummy, yummy. So we got some good Texas meals here going on.
Exactly. Speaking of, have you cooked lately? What have you cooked lately?
Have I cooked lately?
Yeah.
You're funny.
I know, right? You're like, what?
A party, yes, I'm a party animal. But yes, I've cooked quite a bit. The last year and a half, you spend a year at home, so I'm there, I'm cooking myself, I can make my portions and, the household, and it's like I can take what I want to eat rather than what's served on this ginormous platter, and you feel obligated to eat it.
Yep.
And so I lost 20 pounds last year in 2020, so that was good. So I'm going for another few more pounds. I've lost 5 more this year. So.
Nice.
But I cook good and I cook healthy, and it's just been great. No fried food, none of that stuff. So it's like.
So what have you been cooking?
A lot of fish. We have fresh fish, and then about a quarter of a mile to a fresh farmer's market. So it's farm to here and my table, and a lot of fresh fruit and everything.
Fish to farm to table.
Yes, it's great. I love it. and just and eating regular meals, and then instead of like, oh, I'm famished after a service, and then it's 10, 11 o'clock at night. That's not good, but so.
I understand.
It's great.
So what's God been talking to you about lately?
Well, he says new things, new ways, changes, shifts. Some good, some bad, some not so good per se. But just a lot of change. And see, without change, we wouldn't have butterflies. So sometimes we've got to be willing to change. And sometimes that's one of the hardest things for people to do is to change. But be willing to change. And like all of a sudden, in the year 2020, no travel, no nothing. What are you going to do? I wrote 4 books.
That's abrupt.
Yes. So, which is really exciting. And but I was like home for 8 months and wrote 4 books and did I did over 100 Zooms. Praise God for Zooms.
Yep.
And Facebook Lives and different things like that. And then I did recorded like 6 new CDs, and I took advantage of the time. And rested. And I think that helped in the weight loss also. Because I wasn't even planning on, I wasn't dieting. Because diet has die in it, so we don't like that word.
No. Scrap the T, huh?
So, but it was just really neat, and I missed traveling, but that's not who I am. Traveling is not who I am.
Right.
But it was so neat to see, even though there was no travel, no offerings, very little book sales because it was just on the website and stuff. And yet we had savings, praise God, in my personal and the ministry account, and we didn't have to touch it at all, which is truly a miracle.
Seriously.
So it was good.
So when you think like change, right? And you said something like you don't get butterflies without change.
Right.
So the idea on that, like in my mind, I was thinking about the caterpillar to what's that, cocoon to the butterfly. So do you have any suggestions on how to navigate that transition?
Do you have any to tell me?
No, I'm asking you.
Because I'm right.
Because you got all kinds of answers. I think you got great ideas. Okra was a great idea.
Yeah. The thing is to rest in the Lord, trust in the Lord. Because there's a transition of employees right now, and there's also a transition of direction, and we're doing a lot more meetings in Houston area, and more conferences and stuff like that. They said, they suggest I stay home a weekend a month, and I'm like, okay, so I'll just do a conference when I'm home. It's just no travel, but it's been really good. And it's just really building up the home base. It's just like, with you building up the church here, and it's good to travel, but it's also good to build up the home base too. And that's what we're doing. So God's sending us people to help us in all those areas, which is really awesome.
So kind of the cocoon phase, right? Because the cocoon
was more last year of like, let's kind of rethink and refocus. And then this year has been literally a year to fly. And spread our wings.
That's
and
cool.
Expand the television, expand the ministry, expand, and it will eventually open up for expanding world travel. Just got back from Uganda, Africa. That was an exciting experience.
Nice.
And things I told God I never would do, I had to do. We'll do
that one offline. How's that?
Well, they don't have our toilets there, and I really miss our toilets, to say the least.
I understand that. Asia has its own version, and it's all very exciting.
Yes, welcome to the missionary field,
Creative.
Yes,
very
and get
creative
home, it's
ways.
like, my bed, air conditioning.
I got you.
It was illegal to run the air conditioner in the bus during the day.
Oh.
Really? So why did we pay for an air-conditioned bus?
Well, they have like air conditioning police that come and check?
Yeah, they do. If the windows are up.
No way.
If the windows are up, they check.
No way.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, and then the drivers will get fined.
Well, maybe the police should just bribe the police, right? And they could ride and be out of the heat.
Unfortunately, that's how that happens, too.
I know, I have these weird ideas.
I mean, actually, they work overseas for sure. They do.
It creates a lot of interesting dynamics and creativity solutions. I agree.
But it's, everybody has change. Because last year, the way I say it is like last year, everybody could have been diagnosed with PTSD.
Sure.
Because we all went through our own little stressful situations and trauma, but what did we do with it? I learned from it.
Yeah.
And I said, God, if you can take care of me in the year 2000 and totally restore my life, 2020 was nothing. Just believing God for the money. And the money was coming in, and it was just absolutely amazing how God would lay it on people's heart to give, which I'm sure the same here. And which is so exciting how God does that. And because it's his ministry. I said, it's not my ministry, not based on my travel. It's your ministry. And I would have healing crusades in Bermuda from my office. It was really sad, So eventually I hope to go back there. I've done 2 healing crusades.
Wow. And
they've had thousands of people healed.
That's cool.
Through the Zoom.
That's amazing.
And I'm like, I want to come lay hands on you guys.
Exactly, right? Kind of get out.
So it's just very fun. I've done a healing crusade in England. It's just been amazing. And I praise God for, Facebook and YouTubes and all that kind of stuff and getting the word out.
You're the social media butterfly.
Yes. And we did, and we had to learn how to do things differently last year. And then in the process of changing, metamorphosing in the cocoon, and then now we've kind of had time to think, stop, think, reevaluate. What are we doing? Is this the best we can do? Is this reaching more people? And I'm still doing Zooms, because we had a fun one the other day. Love your new book. So it's on order. It's due to arrive any day now, which is great.
Thank you.
And you need to get her book. It's amazing. I love it. And I love the format of it. And but and even the one my chapter that I talked about was just devastation and coming out of devastation. And a lot of people had devastation. And now they're coming out of it, and we're all better for it. And it really caused a lot of people to rethink their values and rethink who their God is. Is the God of money or the God of, because my God's going to supply all my needs, but if you panic that you've lost your job, and panic is understandable, but if you panic on that, what happens is that your trust goes to your job rather than to God. And I think there's a lot of shifting, look what happened to Hollywood, pretty much shut down. And NFL pretty much shut down. And I think it caused people to really reevaluate their gods, the actors and actresses, and some of them had to move out of the country and different things like that. So
that's true. So thank you for watching. And I'd like to ask you to think about this question, answer this question. If you're thinking in terms of transition, where might you be in that journey? Are you doing the caterpillar part? Are you doing the cocoon part? Or are you just busting into the butterfly? So where in that transition are you in that little journey? So thank you for subscribing. Of course, hit the notification little bell right there. That way you get updates on new content. And of course, we have to finish with these fantastic jokes, which we all thoroughly love. So here's your joke. 2 giant windmills are out on a hilltop. One windmill turns to the other and says, "Hey, what kind of music do you like?" And the other windmill says, "I'm a really big metal fan." Windmill, metal fan, music. I know, it's pretty bad, but of course we know next week will be so much better. Thanks again.